What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about new construction. We're going to start with the most spec home, and if you don't know what a spec home is, drop the definition below and you'll be able to see. And we're going to work our way all the way into the most customizable options when it comes to new construction in Charlotte. But before I head inside, do me a huge favor, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe on YouTube. So I figured the best way to start this video and this whole series of new construction opportunities in Charlotte is with Cirrus, who's a good friend of mine at Northway Homes, because they build a ton of houses around town. They're pioneers in a lot of these neighborhoods and they're full spec. So we're gonna go today from full spec to full custom, and I figured this would be a great place for us to start.
You know, Northway Homes is really focused on value-oriented product and pioneering neighborhoods throughout the city of Charlotte. We do a lot here in West Charlotte, try to find opportunities in neighborhoods that are really overlooked and have been overlooked for many years.
What would you say is, like, for you guys, like the average price point that you kind of play in?
Yeah, so we really try to stay within the median price point home and slightly below that. So right now in Charlotte, it's about $350,000 for new construction.
Kind of right around there, give or take the 350 range?
Yeah, give or take, and want to be conscious of how quickly the market has been moving, and there's really not a lot of people that are in that entry level space, and there's so much demand. I mean you're seeing it like every time you're touring one of our listings, there's multiple offers, and there's obviously so much pent up demand.
You kind of picked this niche to work in.
Yeah.
And what was the big draw to that? Was it because of the demand? As most of us know, it's like these like median and average price points around town, like when you're starting to play in the world of like the average in Charlotte MSA, like there's a huge buyer pool. So like, is that the driving force for doing something like this, or what was the reason for that?
There just wasn't a lot of people in the market. In that market, you see, there's so many groups that are building high-end custom housing, and it's just really driven by competition. And we want to build a quality value product because we know there's a huge demand for it. There's demand for it on our for sale business. There's a demand for it on our rental housing business. We don't want to compete with 20 people bidding on the same parcel of land, and right. the margins are a little lower in this space, but we make up for it in volume.
Yeah, and it feels like, kind of based off that, it's like because you have less competition up front, you're driving more competition on the back end with buyers.
Yeah, the other big driver is there are these areas here in the city where you can come in and buy several parcels and totally recreate it and change the neighborhoods. In a city like Charlotte, it's one of the last big cities where you can go in and jump in and basically recreate a neighborhood, and that's what makes it so fun for us.
So you guys are obviously putting a huge footprint on Charlotte right now. How many homes are you planning on building this year, and like what types of homes? Like I want people to think like what Northway is, and like when they think of Northway, like what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so we'll probably start about 150 homes this year, and it's really a blend of for sale housing and rental housing. The rental housing is typically on the smaller side, so 1,200 to call it 1,800 square feet. The for sale housing is geared towards maybe that first time move up buyer. So we're doing more 2,000 square feet range, 2,200, 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath is probably our most common plan. So it really just depends on if it's for sale or for rent.
Yeah, which is awesome because it's a nice healthy mix of all kinds of different spec homes, all different types of bigger, smaller homes, for sale, for rent, all that. So, dude, well, I really appreciate you taking the time on your busy day. Great to see you.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
All right, now that we've seen one of the spec builders in town, and now that you know what it means to have a spec house, I want to introduce you to Anthony, who's a co-founder at Pike Properties, which is one of the premier luxury spec builders.
Andy.
How's it going, man?
Good to see you. Come on in, man.
These houses are beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, we put a lot into this one.
So tell me real quick, what is like the elevator pitch, like the quick 30-second spiel on Pike?
First of all, we were co-founded by my business partner and myself. And our core goal with every single home is to basically build the model home. If we could do that as a luxury spec builder, meaning we make all the selections, we make all the design choices in-house, the homeowner doesn't have to deal with any of that. They just come in and they basically walk into a model home. So if there's an opportunity for an upgrade, we're gonna try to do it.
And every home, it feels like, is truly one of a kind.
Exactly, you got it.
All right, so I got a two-parter for you.
Okay.
First, what would you say is like your favorite part about what Pike does?
Okay.
And then the second, since you said that, you know, each of these are built as a model or like a one-of-a-kind type of home, what's your favorite part about this one?
I like that one. Actually, I'm gonna start with number 2.
Sure.
So let's head to the outside. I'll show you what's going on out there. Here's where it gets kind of exciting and fun.
Okay.
We can really just kind of flex our guns when it comes to the creativity. So everything from, you know, the windows going all the way down to the ground.
They're huge.
Adding in wing walls around the fireplace to just give it a little, you know, not that boxy feel, just something a little different. So we just have a lot of options and different things that we could do out here.
So to me, what's awesome is like all of these different features are so unique, and like the fact that it feels like it's custom, it feels like something that your neighbor doesn't have. They may have something that's awesome, but it's gonna be different than this.
So that's the fun part about what we do in our business model. It's why we created it this way, frankly.
How can you guys like sit in front of a buyer and say, here's the floor plan, here's the rendering of the external piece of the house, everything inside, you just gotta trust us.
Yeah, that was a lot harder in the beginning, right? But truthfully, I mean, obviously our online presence has helped out significantly with that. It's one of the reasons we always opt to either over improve or at least be the top of the market with our selections. Because let's be honest, like selections are way more difficult than people think. As I remember sitting in Ferguson and selecting lighting. And we're just thumbing through like hundreds of pages of books, 15 books on the table. I pick a $2,000 light, I'm like, for my personal home. And I'm like, that's the one. $2,000 light, it's a beautiful light, right? And my business partner looks at me and goes, I don't know. I'm like, why? He goes, well, if you pick that light, then I need to change the plumbing. And then that's not gonna line up with this and that, and like the domino effect happens quickly. So we completely remove that stress from the buyer. Yeah, and I get it. That's an uneasy feeling, right? I'm buying a luxury home and someone's telling me this, yeah, trust me, it'll be great. In-house, we don't allow any change orders or anything like that because we don't want our brand to veer from what helped us get here.
You mentioned luxury, so what would be like the average price point, your typical buyer, like what are they looking for when they come to Pike?
Yeah, so it's all over the board what they're looking for. Sometimes we fit that mold, sometimes we don't. So we're completely infill, you know, no further out than about 10 to 15 minutes from Center City. It can range anywhere now about 1.6 to up to 3 million, somewhere in that range.
That's good to know. I gotta keep that in mind when I get those calls.
That's right.
And you touched on your online presence. I can't leave here without bringing up your Instagram, because you guys absolutely crush it on Instagram.
We just saw a shift that needed to be made. Obviously, the Instagram did blow up and it's doing very well right now, and it's 100% organic, which we're very proud of. Part of that was, you know, hiring somebody full-time to manage it. The other part, honestly, I have to give credit to my business partner to be so concise with the brand and refine it and make sure every photo, every home is very meticulous. Even though we pre-sell everything at this point, we're still gonna stage it. We're still gonna get architectural photos that might cost us I think the last one was $7,500 in photos.
Wow.
And obviously video and all that. I mean, that's a marketing expense. That's how we're building that brand. We have to invest in ourselves.
And I think it's genius the way you're doing that, because it all kind of goes hand in hand. You had mentioned that you try to stay really close to Uptown and Center City. What are some of the neighborhoods that you're primarily in?
Yeah, so I mean, we really cut our teeth in Cotswold. I think we built about 40 homes in Cotswold in the last 5 years or so. And then sort of that South Park-ish area, Providence Park, Mammoth Oaks. Okay. And then of course we're here today in Sedgefield. So
speaking of Sedgefield, I love how close it is to everything. I actually have to run to go meet my friend Joy right down the street on the rail trail. So thank you again for having me here. It's just so cool to learn about what you guys are doing and how you do it and just what the process is that goes into it.
You got it, man.
Pump the brakes real quick. There's so much good content and so much good information to know when it comes to new construction that we have to break this into 2 parts. So these first 2 that we just finished are your spec options, and there's obviously tons of spec options around town. And next week, I'm gonna go into a little bit more of the custom options, and I'll see you then.